you're speaking to planning and
Yes.
such activities.
Yes, yes.
So, do you ever promote's the wrong word, by intention, look at these new technologies and invite clients to entertain them? And that is, you're building a building here. Maybe you should consider that 5% of the parking be available for automated systems, because you're building in a progressively dense community, and explain to them the benefits as far as leasing, sales, and likewise. Are you active in that portion of the environment?
I actively discuss all of this all over the country. What would you say, even the world, Alan? Probably, I guess, is a fair assessment. But I'm a professor, and I am a professor for a reason, because I actively do this with my students. And what's really strange to me, and of course I've described where I live, my students are very reticent to, they want their cars. Now, that's not the national trend. That is not the national trend at all. And so our younger generation, they do want these different paradigms. And so it's an interesting discussion. We're working with them. With my students, it's interesting because we're so rural, they can't ever imagine not having their own car, and that may be 100% true. And so my whole job is to help them understand what's going on in the rest of the world. So yeah, I do this all the time. And we study how this might happen, and I think about it a lot. That's what that workshop was that was up there. So the last 2 summers, I did a workshop at TRB AUVSI, which is a big conference that we started, 4 years ago, Alan? And in the summer, and when we first started, there was maybe 100 of us, and now how many, it can't even, it's huge. And so I do a big all-day workshop where everybody comes together, and we have multiple scenarios. And we describe a condition, and we give a specific location, and teams of people sit down who are knowledgeable about all the technology, like Alan and other people, and start to imagine, well, what's going to happen? What are people going to do? How do we design and plan for it? How do we prepare? So I talk a lot about parking garages. So the interesting thing is, in 1900, people say, oh, there weren't many cars. Well, by 1904, there were 5,000 parking garages in New York City. In a span of 5 years, Campus Marcus, which is the main street in Detroit, went from a very unhealthy, because you got to think about horses, right? Think about horses in cities. Okay, our cities were not nice places in 1900. And within 5 years, Campus Marcus in downtown Detroit was this amazing, beautiful place. The car was the environmental savior of our cities in that last century. And we've obviously come full cycle now, but it happened very quickly, and I think we're going to see this happen very quickly. I really do, Alan.